This is the app portion for the Wyze Watch 44mm. To start, we just come in here and we select the Wyze Watch. And you'll notice the first thing that you do is sync your data. If you haven't synced any data recently, that might take a little longer than what you saw. It will display your battery percentage right here. You can see I'm at 95% currently. You also have your selection of watch faces. Now the Wyze 44mm watch can hold up to 4 watch faces at once. Currently, these are the watch faces that I have on my watch for display. If I wanted to change that, I can simply come to Edit, and here we can see they've actually increased it, so you can have 4 of 6. So this is only 4 of the 6 possible. For the 44mm, you have a smaller selection of watch faces than you do with the larger band, which kind of annoys me a little bit, but you have some planetary themed faces right there. You have some flower faces. You have color, which really is just a black face with a colored indicator for the second hand. These are actually the ones that I tend to use the most. One, because it helps save battery, because black background, and just the color accent for the second hand. You've got mixed number, where you only actually have 1. You've got hollow numbers, and you have numerical here. All the way at the bottom, you have the possibility of photos. So what this is here is the date and time display, and then in this black space, you can stick a photo. So if I select this one, I can select add, and that will add it. We can change our font color here, and you can see dynamically it's changing up there. So if I do that, and then I would come to background and select a photo. I won't be doing that because I don't want to show my library. But once we do that, it will add this to the watch. So let me quickly take a photo, and I will take a picture of my camera, and then here is the watch face. So you gotta carefully pick where you want that to go. Select that. There we go. That's gonna be my watch face. I'm gonna hit OK, and there you can see there's my watch face. So maybe I want to move that clock and date around there. I will select add, and then the new watch face will be added to my watch. Now you will see this will take a little bit of time to actually do, so it's not instantaneous, but this is going to give you an idea of the actual time frame that it takes to get from here to my watch. And there we go, that's done. So if we put our app down for 1 second, we could see my watch is installing the new watch face. So this is the second part of that. You obviously will need to be connected via Bluetooth. And there we can see, there is my new watch face that I just took and updated with the Wyze app. What we're gonna do now is we are going to hit back because we're done with our clock faces, and there you can see there are all my clock faces. And I spoke incorrectly before, like I said, there are 6 possible watch faces that you can have. Coming down, we have your notifications area will allow you to pick what types of notifications you want to receive at all to your Wyze Watch. By default, you can see up here, you have the option for phone calls and text messages. Under other applications that are automatically recognized by the Wyze app and watch are your Wyze, Instagram, Gmail, calendar. Everything else that you may get notifications from on your phone fall under other. You will notice that sometimes these messages up here will show up as other on your Wyze Watch. Keep in mind, when I did this originally, I could not get notifications from anything under the other applications, but an update to the Wyze firmware made it so that you have to allow 2 different permissions to run in the background in order to get these to work on your watch. One would be to allow the Wyze app for the watch, especially when you look at the update cycle or the firmwares for the 47 and the 44mm. There, that you go into your settings in the release cycle, allow for that to be pushed to your all these extra features. We're going to select back because now we're going to go to stretch reminder. What this will do is, after 50 minutes of inactivity from the watch being dormant, but why not have the same little reminder? Save yourself some trouble. You see a little stretch icon on your screen and buzzes your wrist. You can quickly tap the button on the side of the watch to tell it to go away, or you can actually get up and do what it says. You can also set this between a time frame. So for me, I set it between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. This way it's not at the very start of my workday, but it is at the end of my workday, so I don't have this trying to tell me to get up and stretch in the middle of the night or after working hours. Activity goal, if we come in here, you can see, hey, we're gonna set activity goals, and you can turn this on or off, and it will pop up with little notifications. You've reached your step goal, you've reached your calorie goal. These are adjustable just by clicking on them. There are preset ones, but you can change that to whatever you'd like it to be as long as it exists within the preset scroll. Coming back, do not disturb mode. So for me, I don't want notifications or anything being pushed. So I turn this on and I set this for 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Granted, that's not quite when I go to bed, but that's when I'd like to stop receiving notifications on my wrist. You could turn this on and off depending on how you want to use it, but this is how I use it. Rise to wake. What this is moving your wrist to a position that brings it into a wake mode. I'll admit this one's kind of hit and miss in my opinion. It requires a lot of turning more than I thought it would for this to actually actuate correctly. The beauty of it though is you can set a start time and an end time for when you'd like that to happen, because you don't want to be raising your wrist in the middle of the night and have this screen blaring in your face. So set a start time and end time if you're going to use this. Next, which side are you wearing your wrist on? In my case, I'm wearing it on my left hand, but you could choose left or right simply by clicking right here, which seems a little odd because you want to click up there. Scrolling down, running in the background. Well, the Wyze app does need to run in the background, so you just have to indicate what your phone is, and then it will take you to the menu where you can tell it to run in the background. Coming down, weather app. You can either have it set to automatically pick up the weather based on your location. I have that currently toggled off because right here it will show the city where it last picked up your weather. In my case, I have just told it, I'm in Gettysburg, tell me the weather in Gettysburg, and that will be displayed in the weather app on my wrist. You can change your temperature units between Fahrenheit and Celsius, and that is the weather app. Shortcuts? Well, right now I don't have any shortcuts, but you can have up to 10 shortcuts accessible. I don't really like the way that the shortcut works because there's like 3 to 4 levels of screens that you need to actually get to your shortcuts. But if we were to create a new shortcut, we would simply say add a shortcut, and then just like you would with your rules for one of your other Wyze products, whether that's a Wyze Cam or a Wyze Bulb, you can set parameters as to what happens when you press this shortcut button on your wrist. So you could turn on a Wyze Bulb, you could turn on or off a Wyze camera, all from your wrist. It's a nice add, but in my opinion, not the best use of the watch. Coming down to the bottom, that was all just on our watch tab. If we come over to our data tab, this is where all the information that's being sucked out of your watch is ending up. Here we could see steps based on the current date and time because everything's sunk, 8 calories, the O2, heart rate, and sleep. I did not wear the watch this morning, so that's why a lot of these are off, but if we click on any one of these items, you could see that it's broken down to today. I can select week, or I could select month, and here you could see, and then it says monthly total, daily average. We can even toggle between months if we want to, and that is for each of these items. So here we can see calories, I can go to month, that's a basic listing of the calories. So because the O2 sensor is not running constantly in the background, or doesn't have the option to run constantly in the background, you'll notice that there's a lot less data for that. However, heart rate, because I have that running all the time, you can kind of get an idea here of heart rate. And again, last one, and then a range. Sleep was interesting. I kind of know I don't sleep very well. Here you can see average awake 32 minutes for this month, 4 hours of light sleep, 4 hours of deep sleep. If we come back to the previous month, monthly data right there, you can see it's about the same, but it is color coded so that you can see this data if you wanted to. Now, the major difference between the 44mm and the larger Wyze watch is this data, or at least some of this data, is visible on the watch if you get the larger one. If you get the smaller version, none of this is accessible, which kind of upsets me. My information, that's going to show you your information, male or female, year born, weight, height, and we're just not going to show you that. If I come back to the watch section, that's going to give you information about the watch itself. So we're not going to show that because that's MAC address and all that fun, happy stuff. But that is all the stuff that you can do with the Wyze application for the Wyze Watch 44mm. I do wish that they kind of had a little more in the app selection, but I kind of get it. It's a cheaper watch. You're not going to get a lot there. But hopefully you found a portion of the application for the Wyze Watch helpful.